Center for Rehabilitation Engineering, which develops, builds, and provides computer-enhanced adaptive equipment for children and adults with disabilities. You are inspired by a story of a young woman with cerebral palsy who communicated solely by shifting her gaze to select letters on a plexiglass board held by another person. Using your expertise in computer technology and with the aid of fellow professors, you developed a computer system that enabled this woman to spell, write sentences, and speak using an electronic voice. Since that brilliant beginning, SHARE has grown into a nationally recognized organization, and you have joined with faculty colleagues and your students to co-design countless individualized systems. With profound gratitude for your magnificent idea that has transformed thousands of lives, the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth honors you, Les Cory.
Thank you, Chancellor Grossman. I am honored and humbled to be here before you this evening. In the 55 years since I wandered in the door at Durfee College, it's been my privilege to have been associated with about 5,000 students. I used to think that my job was to fill their young brains full of information and not let them graduate until they had managed to retain it all without any leaking out. But in the process of working with these students, I discovered that the real purpose of education is to develop in students an ability to learn and to instill in them a love of learning. I'm told that education is what you have left over after you've forgotten everything that you've learned. I said to Chancellor Grossman the other day that almost everything I know I learned from my students. I didn't tell her, but the rest I learned from my children. I met one of my former students recently, and she asked, "Professor Cory, how many years have you worked at the university?" I told her, "None." I've never thought about the time that I've spent here as work. Those 55 years have been more of an adventure. The first time I walked on this ground where we are here this evening, it was a farm. And I remember walking it with First President Joe Driscoll and a number of others. And over the years, I've watched every building and roadway on this campus take shape. We went from fewer than 50 faculty to hundreds, from a few hundred students to thousands, from a largely technical school to a university. In 1964, on the New Bedford campus, I saw a computer for the first time in my life. I spent the whole summer of 1964 learning to program and repair that 4-ton monster. It was so large it completely filled the room. And I developed a strong relationship with that computer. I think I cried the last time we turned it down. From then I went on teaching and learning about computers, and that's been pretty much what's been going on in my life. In 1981, I was presented with an opportunity to use what I had learned about computers to improve the quality of life of a severely disabled woman with cerebral palsy. She was unable to walk, unable to use her hands, and unable to speak. She was 24 years old. My partner, Phil Vile, and I designed and built a computer system to enable her to communicate independently for the first time in her life. I believe that was the first time anywhere that a disabled person was given an electronic voice to say whatever she wanted to say. 1981, you recall, was before IBM had marketed its first personal computer. It was even before Al Gore had invented the internet. That communication system marked the beginning of a new adventure that has put this university in the forefront of technology to benefit people who are disabled. Over the past 33 years, the Umass Dartmouth Rehabilitation Engineering Center has provided innovative adaptive technology for more than 3,400 individuals residing in 38 states and 7 different countries. Through our work, we have markedly improved the quality of life of literally thousands of people. But those numbers don't tell the whole story, because as people's needs and abilities change, and as technology evolves, we find it necessary to replace and rebuild equipment that we've given to our clients. The number of different pieces of adaptive equipment we have supplied is nearly 15,000. And the number of times that we have provided service for people is now more than 25,000. I should note that none of the people that we have helped has ever paid for anything that we have provided or for any of the services that we've given. I want to thank my partner, Phil Bile, for his continued involvement in this project, because if not for his expertise, if not for Phil's expertise, his compassion and his commitment, our first system would never have been delivered. I also want to thank those who are sitting over there at that table representing the Rehabilitation Engineering Center. Those are the folks who actually do the work for which I invariably get the credit. Thank you. And thank you just to a couple of others. First, to Claire Carney, whose advice I have frequently sought and whose wisdom has helped the center to grow. Thank you to Chancellor Grossman for selecting me to receive this award, and thank you to her and to her predecessors for the university's unfailing support of the work of the center. And finally, thank you to a person without whose encouragement and understanding none of what I have accomplished would ever have been possible. And that's my best friend, who also happens to be my wife, Patricia.